Hello and welcome to Decoding the New Economy. Today I'm joined by Carl Grivner, CEO of Pacnet. Carl, today we're going to talk about how your company's evolving in East Asia and some of the interesting structures that you've got there, and probably kick off with that first of all. So you're based in both Singapore and Hong Kong. What's the reason for that?
The more historical than anything magical or anything else. The original headquarters of the company when it was created 10 or 12 years ago was in Hong Kong. And then as the management team evolved, as people got hired, some of them were based in Singapore. So the management team, the senior management team, is really split between Hong Kong and Singapore. And they're both, very vibrant business cities, both very different culturally. And it's really worked out well for us over the years. So we call ourselves co-headquartered, if you would.
Right. And so Pacnet, what's the core business?
Core business is providing communication services and data center services to our customer. Managed services overall. Managed network services and managed data center services. The network business we've been in for a long time. The data center business for the last 3 years. We've built out a series of data centers across Asia. In Hong Kong, Singapore, Sydney, Melbourne, Chongqing, China. We've got one going up in Tianjin that'll be ready in July of this year. And we're just about to start plans on one in Shanghai very soon.
Yep. Now you're pretty unique in that you own both the fibre and the data centres as well. What sort of advantage do you see for the business?
I think the big advantage is really for our customers, because you can come to Pacnet, somebody that has the data centers and the network put together, not just in a physical sense, but in a logical sense. We've defined something called the Pacnet-enabled network, which is another way of saying a software-defined network. So our customers can connect anywhere in the Pacnet network, and it's created a virtual network and a virtual data center capability for them. And as we talk to more and more customers, we find that that's something very unique. We haven't found anybody else in the world that has that kind of capability.
Yeah.
And we certainly think it differentiates us. And our customers, as we talk to them about it, they say, well, have you thought about using it this way or using it this way? So they're thinking of ways to create new applications of how to use this unique capability that we have.
Yeah. So being spread across Northeast Asia, that's a fairly broad spectrum of cultural. How do you find the cultural differences between the businesses in those sectors?
It's a good question, because one of the things that when I talk to our employees or talk to customers for that matter, the physical assets are second to none. The data center, the network, all spread across Asia, into China, into Australia, back into the United States. So we have the geographic coverage, we have the right assets. But what differentiates us are the people that we have in each of those locations. Because when you do business in Asia, doing business in Singapore versus Sydney versus Hong Kong, everything's a little bit different, or a lot different, or in China for that matter. And so the physical assets are physical assets, but the people that know how to get things done in each of those markets is what makes us unique, and I think gives us a very unique competitive advantage as well. So when I talk to our employees, we're always focused on the assets and this and what we're doing in terms of the technology, but the people aspect of this is very critical, because getting things done and knowing how to do it right is something that we do very, very well.
Right. Yeah. So across those, what's the where do you see the opportunities with having those data centers in China? Because again, that's a fairly unique thing for a non-Chinese company.
Sure. A lot of people want to do business in China. It's obviously one of the fastest growing economies in the world, and having those physical assets are important, because you need a license to operate, whether it be communication services or data center or cloud services. So the interest that we're getting are primarily from enterprise customers that want to come into Asia, and no longer are things being sent back to this location or back to this location. They want to be in market. Better customer service, better response time as far as their applications are concerned. So when we have those data centers and those capabilities that are close to several billion people, and a growing middle class and new technologies. China has more mobile devices per capita than any place in the world.
Yeah.
And so you've got a lot of people that are interested in growing their business, but they don't necessarily have the resources to do that. And everybody wants to kind of start small and build out.
Yeah.
And we're perfect for that. They can start with us and they can build their business and as they grow, we can grow with them. And I think that's what makes us unique.
Yeah. Now, having the data center in Chongqing, was there a deliberate reason for having it in the central south there, or?
Yeah, I think Chongqing is the Mayor Wang is very innovative. This was part of his vision, and still is part of his vision, to build out Chongqing not only as a manufacturing center. A lot of great manufacturing names in Chongqing. You have Ford and Pilatus and a lot of name brands. But he also wanted to go down the service sector side in the cloud computing area and big data. And so that was part of what created this partnership, and it certainly is very unique and very visionary on the mayor's part in doing something like this.
So with Hong Kong, I mean, a few years ago, Hong Kong was always seen as the gateway to China. Yeah. That seems to be changing these days. How have you found it in recent years?
No, I think Hong Kong is still very important, but I think there are several gateways in China. There is Hong Kong, there's Shanghai and Beijing, and there's lots of different ways. China is not one area conquers all. Each region is different.
Sure.
Just like in Asia, everything is different. Each of the regions operate differently. And I think that's exciting, because I think the competitiveness within China, the differences within China create something that's very unique on a global basis. And I think why you see a lot of businesses wanting to do business in China, because it presents a tremendous opportunity, but one that must be taken with care and vision of where you want to take your business and how it works with the different parts of China as well.
So moving out of China into Southeast Asia, being based in Singapore there, how are you finding the development of Southeast Asian nations?
Very strong. I mean, you look outside of China, you look into Vietnam or Malaysia and other places. A lot of excitement, a lot of opportunities in those areas as well. I think they're not as far along, but I certainly think they're up and coming in terms of capabilities in the next few years.
Yeah. So where do you see Pacnet being in 5 years' time?
I think Pacnet, we continue to grow. We're growing on our strategic revenue side in excess of 20% a year. We're going to continue to expand our data centers. We're going to continue to upgrade our network. We've just finished a major upgrade of our network, new capabilities, and continue to expand the reach of Pacnet on a global basis. Yeah. And we can do that not necessarily just with physical assets, but with software and partners. We have people that are very interested in being part of the Pacnet-enabled network or software-defined network that are carriers or enterprise customers, and that's going to create a bigger ecosystem for us. So Penn starts this way, but it's going to continue to grow, and different pieces will become part of it. And therefore, we're interconnecting a lot of our customers together.
Yeah, and moving back up from Southeast Asia up to Northeast Asia with Japan, Korea, and Taiwan. How do you see those? Those
are exciting markets. Japan's always been a great market for us. Korea is an up-and-coming market in terms of some of the new opportunities relative to gaming. We've got a new data center coming online later this summer in Busan, and we're going to look to build another data center around the Tokyo area sometime in 2015.
Right. So lots of work ahead there.
Lots of work ahead and lots of good things.
Well, Carl, thank you very much for joining Decoding the New Economy, and thank you very much too.
Thank you.